We're in the woodland garden, Mary, here where the spring beauty is just lush. This is a true spring ephemeral. It dies down quickly after it's through blooming, but first it sets tons of seeds. We're lucky to have this blooming today because mostly it's all gone. We haven't seen too much bloom left on spring beauty, but here we are. Look at that. Is that spring beauty or what? Oh. Look at the delicate pink lines on a white bloom. But here, look at the blooms that have come. Each little stem here represents a bloom, and there's probably 50, 60 seeds inside that little stem, and that's the capsule, which will release the seeds, and you'll have great carpets of it in time. Very easy grower in shade or light sun. Not particular about soils or moisture. It's just a cute little spring bloom.
Steve, you are right. These Virginia bluebells are just stunning. Yeah. But how do you care for all of this?
Yeah, it must be at least half an acre, and the answer is they require no care. Just like a woodland, treat it like a woodland. They come up, they flower, they die down in the fall, they go back to dust, and that's it. We don't cut them down, we don't mulch them. It's a woodland garden. Think of it as a woodland garden.
When you dig up plants and sell them to your customers, how do you know how many to keep so that you have enough for next year?
Well, it depends on the variety, Mary. A lot of the ferns are very slow to propagate, so we're always sure to have X number of ferns on hand for the following year. A lot of things seed themselves prolifically, like the Virginia bluebells. We don't worry about it. We'll sell as many as the customers will want. So it just depends on the variety. We're always aware of how many are in the ground at any one time, except the bluebells. We just know there's a gazillion of those.
When a customer comes in, how do you dig and sell a plant to them?
Well, as I said earlier, some of the plants are growing in raised beds. We can dig from there. If not, if we have it only in the garden, I'll just come out with my spade. The customer says, "Oh, I'd like to have that fern, Steve. Can you dig it for me?" And I'll say, "Sure." Our soils are just delightful, really rich, organically rich. So I'll dig that plant up, take a pot out to the garden. And this is springtime of the year where the things are just unfolding. It's going to do beautifully. This is an interrupted fern. I'll take it to the water spigot, give it some water, tell the customer, go home and plant it, and take care of it by watering it through the season, mulching in the fall if it's late in the season. Otherwise, they're pretty much on their own. I think the most important part the first year is to keep it well watered. If we don't have gentle rains throughout the season, make sure this doesn't dry out.
When is the best time to plant a spring ephemeral?
I would say either as they're just coming up, as this fern is just unfolding, a perfect time, or in the fall as things are going dormant, late summer, early fall, as things are going dormant. Another good time to transplant it because they're dormant and they don't need a lot of fussing over in their new home.
Should you water them in well when you first plant?
Yes, and if we have dry spells, continue throughout the season.
Do you have to worry about them rotting if they go dormant and you water too much?
I've never had that problem. They're usually pretty tough.
Do you have to mulch them for the winter?
We don't here because we have a lot of leaves from the trees that fall, and that's a true organic mulch. If you've planted it late in the season, it wouldn't be hard to top dress with some rotted compost or some shredded leaves or something like that to make sure that the plant makes it through the winter well.
In the spring of the year, do you go through and mow the old foliage down at all?
Now, Mary, this is a woodland garden. Does nature mow the foliage down? No. This is just strictly low maintenance. We take care, make sure weeds aren't taking over, but other than that, the garden is on its own. It does this beautifully. Look at this. We haven't touched it for years. This garden was established in the late 50s, and we haven't touched a thing as far as maintenance goes.
When a person buys a spring ephemeral and takes it home and plants it, about how many years does it take until it starts either to make seed or bloom or start to spread by rhizomes?
I think you could probably count on a scant bloom for the first year or two. After that, you should start to see some propagation either by seeds or spreading rhizomes.
Wow, so in about 3 years.
In about 3 years, you should have something like this.
How far apart should people plant these ephemerals?
Well, it really depends, Mary, on two things. It depends on the species, and it depends on how quickly you want that garden to look mature. For instance, ferns, I would plant maybe foot and a half apart. If you really want a good stand of ferns, you want it to look like something that's been there for a while. Virginia bluebells can be planted 3 or 4 feet apart because they're going to spread quickly.
What are some other plants, since these die down, what are some other plants that you can plant with them to help fill in the space?
Oh, sure, that's a good question. We often use astilbe. If we're thinking of a woodland setting, astilbes, hostas, of course, are just a giveaway. Solomon's seal might be kind of interesting, the pulmonarias, bruneras, things that can take the shade and be attractive all season long and fill that space.
How can a homeowner take advantage of these beautiful plants that you've shown me? How can they use them?
Well, they're best in kind of a woodland setting or a setting that is somewhat shaded. For years, people have thought about the woodland, oh, what can we do? What can we plant there? Grass won't grow. All we can do is lay rock mulch. I thought, oh, don't do that. These love a woodland setting. So anything you can think of taking advantage of the shade, like the perennials we just talked about, these would just thrive in that kind of a setting.